Looking ahead for the Detroit Tigers. I know it doesn't feel like baseball season outside right now on your way in or out of your car or into work, but they are down in Lakeland. We had AJ Hinch on yesterday. The Bregman stuff is behind us. And we simply ask, okay, well, who's going to be that right-handed bat in the top half of this lineup? Who's going to be the guy that plays the majority of the innings at third base? And we don't have those answers. It's why I don't understand being relieved that Bregman didn't pick us, but we've been looking to see what their options are. And there's some internal, right? Vierling, can he stick at third? You're going to lose him in the outfield where he's better defensively. Jay Shung, I don't know if he's a third baseman. We don't know about his bat. He's another lefty, so it doesn't solve all the issues. We brought up Nolan Arenado. Clearly the trade market, I mean, he has a no-trade clause. It's not a given, and he's not even a polished player the way he used to be. There's a drop-off with the power, and he is a guy who will strike out. So then what? The ticket texter says, keep an eye on Toronto and points out Bo Bichette. Toronto's fascinating because they underachieved a year ago. Bichette's got a year left on his deal. Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s got a year left on his deal. Big payroll, not living up to expectations. Young players that haven't signed long-term deals. The Tigers have 6 top 100 prospects.
You're going to have to part with some of them.
There's the ability, whether it's now or if they get off to a hot start or get to the deadline. We remember what it was like when we were selling, and you're going, boy, if we can get a top 100 prospect, that'd be gold. And to Scott Harris's credit, they have a bevy of these guys to use as a trade chip. And I don't think you got to part with 2 or 3 of them, but one strategically, like McGonigal, is he a shortstop? Is Rainier the shortstop they just took? Are they both shortstops? Could you part with one for the right player if you're in contention? Like, these are the conversations that I think we'll be shifting to post Alex Bregman.
There's also another name, if we're just simply looking to add a right-handed bat.
Yeah.
Not one that I would be, jumping through hoops for. JD Martinez. I mean, this would be a 1-year deal, and it is simply to add a bat to this lineup. So, and this is, and I bring his name up simply to discuss the fact, because I think it was, 38? It doesn't have to be a third baseman. I don't think you're going to get the total package that you're looking for. So if you're not, then you got to start thinking, how can we improve on the offensive side? If that is the number one concern, you don't have enough bats. Who could provide some offense?
Well, and that is the issue. I think we'll all go into this season excited because the pitching staff has been reinforced, because they're coming off a playoff berth, because you still have AJ Hinch to mix and match with the pieces. But we all remember why the season ended. They didn't have enough clutch at-bats, guys who could drive people in, too many strikeouts. And they themselves said at the start of the offseason, we're too left-handed, dominant, dependent. We need some right-handed bats. So we're not saying anything that they don't know or that that still needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I mean, but Scott Harris is going to have to get creative.
Yeah.
And whether the creativity is in trade or you've got to add another bat to this lineup. If you want to be looked at as a contender, not just in the division, but to make a run in the postseason, you're going to have to add some offense.
Or to win this division, I think is another way of looking at it. Ticket Texter says, when I brought up the no plan B thing, that I was trolling. I said Scott Harris didn't have a plan B with Eduardo Rodriguez or Alex Bregman. I don't think that's trolling. I think it's a fair critique of the guy.
Well, I think people were looking for you to add a strike.
Oh, okay.
Is what they were thinking. You're heading. No, you didn't. To your credit.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Growing, maturing.
Sure.
248-539-9797. Wrapping up the Tiger stuff, this one says, if I'm AJ, I bring Job as my high-leverage reliever, 7th or 8th inning, and then work his way into the closer role, at least for this year. Tom and Flat Rock. They've said they view him as a starter long-term. Eventually, you got to start getting his workload up. He's not throwing 100 innings in a season. I think that's a fair goal for this year. I don't think he gets to 100 innings unless he's like a multi-inning reliever, and they use him aggressively. I think at some point he's a starter this season. I just don't know. Are they skipping starts or are they starting him in the bullpen? Either way, you're not going to get everything that you want out of Job this year, because they are, just like they did with Casey Mize early on. And that hasn't really panned out, but that's probably how they're going to manage his innings.